Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about our stoneware. Stoneware is exclusive to Pamper Chef. You cannot get it from anywhere else, and it's what we're famous for. Stoneware is made out of a steam porous clay, so when you cook on glass and metal, moisture can come out of the food. It can gather around your food and make it soggy. But when you cook on stoneware, what should be crispy stays crispy, and what should be succulent stays succulent. So things like pieces of fish and chicken and pork that you might have to wrap in foil or add oil to keep it nice and moist. Don't use any of that. Stick it on the stoneware, bung it in the oven, and just forget about it. And on the flip side, things like roast potatoes and wedges, they stay really lovely and crispy. So these are my two favourite pieces of stoneware. This is the rectangular baker. It's kind of my workhorse. I will use this pretty much every day, and you can use it all day, every day. You can use it for breakfast, so you put your sausages in. Don't use turn them. You don't turn anything on stoneware. So you put your sausages on, and the stoneware cooks it from the bottom, the oven cooks it from the top. Don't use to turn anything. That immediately cuts out so much of the hassle of cooking, because you don't have to go back to the oven and zhuzh things and turn things halfway through the cooking. You get blasted by hot air. So you put your sausages on, don't turn them, don't touch them. After about 25 minutes, add your bacon, your mushrooms, tomatoes, and then right at the end, crack your eggs in and put it back in the oven until the eggs are all done. Because I used to use every pot and pan going before I did Pamper Chef and had discovered stoneware. When I was doing the full English breakfast, there'd be fat splashing everywhere and everything would be finishing at different times. So just do it all in here, much easier. You could do some bacon in here, go off and have a shower, come back and do some bacon sandwiches. There's no transference of smell, so you could do bacon one day and the next day you could do things like croissants or some kind of pastries for breakfast. You can use it for baking, so you can do your cookies and your biscuits. You can even turn it over and cook on the base if you wanted to. It's brilliant for things like cheese on toast. I've got a grill. Half of the grill cremates everything, half of the grill, the other half of the grill doesn't touch it at all. So if I can do stuff in the oven, then I'm very happy. These are only for the oven and the microwave. So you put your bread on, you put your cheese on, and you put another piece of bread on to make toasted sandwiches and bung it in the oven. That's your entry level toasted sandwich. You could add some ham for the next level up, or if you're feeling really whizzy, you could add some tuna mayonnaise and make some tuna mayonnaise toasted sandwiches. But you could do cheese on toast in the same way, but obviously without the piece of bread on the top. You could make pizza in here. You could get a piece of puff pastry and top it with lots of different yummy things and make your own puff pastry tarts. Dishwasher's gone off, I'm just going to keep going. Again, you can do your pizzas on the bottom, no more soggy bottoms when you do your pizzas on your stoneware. You can do fish fingers. Oh my god, fish fingers are a revelation to my children done on stoneware, because you don't get a thing of breadcrumb naked fish or you turned your fish finger. You don't have to turn anything on stoneware, and also they become non-stick. So that pile of orange stuff next to the fish fingers, my children used to think was a side order. But now you just put your fish fingers on, just leave it, and you've got beautifully crispy fish fingers, and they've got their batter on, which is brilliant. It's great for things for your kids as well, so things like chicken goujons, not nuggets, goujons that I cook from scratch obviously. Again, just put them on there, don't need to turn anything. I do roast potatoes in here with no oil whatsoever, so just parboil roast potatoes, drain them, give them a shake, whack them in your stoneware, bit of seasoning, put them in the oven, fat-free roast potatoes. You can do wedges, so we've got lovely veggie potatoes on there, bit of seasoning in the oven, fat-free wedges. Fat-free chips using the crinkle cutter, which you get free this month when you spend £45. You can do pasta bakes, no need to pre-cook the pasta, just chuck it all in there. Spaghetti bolognese, mix up all your minced ingredients, whatever you usually put in there, whatever vegetable you're trying to hide from your kids this week. Put it in there, make a trench going from one side to the other, put your dry spaghetti in there, cover it with dolmio, passata, chopped tomatoes, put it in the oven, 35-40 minutes later you've got a spag bowl all done in one pot. Lasagna, you can do it exactly the same way, just layer up all the ingredients. Brilliant for things like risottos, no more having to stand at the hob and stir things and feed things with stock. You just chuck all your risotto ingredients, whatever risotto recipe you use, just chuck them all in there, bung it in the oven, 35-40 minutes later you've got perfect risotto. The only stirring you have to do is stir through some cheese and some cream at the end. Curry, brilliant if you want to prepare something, if you've got friends and family coming over in advance, just chuck it all in. put it in the fridge, just bring it back up to room temperature before you put it back in the oven, because all your stoneware must go in the oven at room temperature. Yeah, any curries that you like, favourite curry recipes, or Thai green curry, again, just chuck it all in there and bung it in the oven and just forget about it. You can do pies, sweet and savoury, no need to pre-bake the pastry. You can do crumbles in here and roast dinners. You can do tray bakes like brownies and flapjacks. So it's just so versatile. Stews, casseroles, absolutely everything you can do in your stoneware, and you will use it all day, every day. This is the other piece of stoneware that I love. This is the deep cover baker. It's our most expensive piece of stoneware, but you do get 2 bakers for the price of 1, because you can cook in here. This handle goes through the bars of the oven shelf, so I've done a quiche in there and a pudding in there. If you like my sizes, good size quiche, massive pudding. Or, I met a lady the other day, she does roast in there and crumble in there, and she's a lot slimmer than me, so I think I need to take a leaf out of her book, smaller puddings. But yeah, so you could do your roast and then your potatoes in there, or your roast and your potatoes in there, and a giant Yorkshire pudding in there. You can double decker cook, so you could do all your, your meat, your fish, your burgers, your steak on the bottom, and do all your vegetables and your potatoes in the top. Because it's got the lid, you can use it as a plugless slow cooker. So that spag bol I was talking about, do it exactly the same way, but have it chugging away on a low heat with the lid on over a few hours in the afternoon. They say hot for 45 minutes, so if you've got people coming in at different times, they can help themselves to bits and bobs in it that won't have gone cold. The curry, do it in here again, low heat for a long time, go out for a walk, come back, got gorgeous curry. Great for things like deep lasagnas and fish pies and cottage pies and stuff like that. And we call it a plugless slow cooker because, things like pork, get a piece of pork, put it in there, 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday, go out for the day, come back, 4:30, 5:30, whatever, beautifully cooked, all falls apart, hasn't crackled, so take the crackling off, put it in the oven on another piece of stoneware, whack up the heat, and then this is resting, staying warm, because they say hot for 45 minutes, and you can do some pork and crackling rolls for tea. Great for things like bread, because you can cook your bread in there. People I know make jam in this, they're very clever, I can't do that. But yeah, you just will use them all the time. When you first get your piece of stoneware, give it a light basting of oil, or cook high fat foods in it, like sausages, chicken, something like that. After you've done that 5 or 6 times, you don't need to use any oil whatsoever. So the roasties that I do in here will be done with no oil. Yorkshire puddings in our single servings tray or our 12-cup muffin pan, again, no oil whatsoever, fat-free Yorkshire puddings. Just get a bit, try it, and if you don't love it as much as I do, in the first 30 days of having it, Pam Chef will come round and take it away and give you a refund or an exchange. How amazing is that? So just get a bit and try it, raise some money for a good cause, and have some yummy food.